Anything you imagine that's for the good is possible to be a reality. What you don't understand is that God gave you a brand even before you were born. All you had to do in life is walk into it.
Welcome to the Kxngs X Queens podcast, where we enter the minds of leaders with a vision and learn why greatness truly resides within each and every single one of us. Recognizing the kings and queens of the world one voice at a time, here's your host, King Lapo.
What is up, Kxngs X Queens family? This is your host, King Lapo, in the building. I hope everyone's having a blessed and tremendous day. In this episode, we have a special guest who's the founder and CEO of ReTV, which is a platform TV network for young entrepreneurs to collaborate with one another rather than competing with one another. So listen throughout the entire episode to dive deeper into the meaning of that statement and the evolution of ReTV in general. So with that being said, I'd like to welcome the one and only Rheisha Shol. How you doing, Rheisha?
Doing amazing. How are
you? I'm good. I'm blessed. I'm doing good. I'm happy
Amen to that.
Hey, man. I'm happy to have you on the Kxngs X Queens podcast. How's it feel?
I'm so honored. I'm so honored and excited to be here. That is the beauty of social media, and it stands to my statement: collaboration over competition. So thanks. I'm on your show, and then you're going to be on mine. The beauty of it is we're going to impact more people. Reach more amazing people to collaborate with, and that's the movement. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so what we like to do here on the Kxngs X Queens podcast is to introduce you to the family. So for those who may not know who you are, just go ahead and give them a general background. Where you're from, born and raised, and everything.
Yeah, I was born in Belize, Central America. Okay. I moved to the United States, Houston, when I was 6.5. So I'm an H-Town girl, H-Town, hold it down.
Okay.
And then I went to Texas State, and I was back and forth in Austin throughout my entire time at Texas State. And then I fell in love with the city. So now I live in Austin. I work for a tech company. And I'm the founder of and CEO of ReTV. Okay. So, just trying to make the world a better place.
Yeah,
but that's just a little bit about me.
Okay. And what was your major again at Texas State?
I was a double major.
Okay.
I majored in business management and electronic media.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I did all that. But I'm actually planning to go back to school. So you guys get the first scoop. No one knows this yet.
Wow, okay. Exclusive.
So Shawty about to go get her MBA.
Ooh, hey, congrats. That's a big move.
Thank you. Yeah. So, working on some logistics, but I'm excited, man. I'm excited to go back to school.
That's good.
I think it's so important to be a student of life. Mm-hmm. And I'm grateful to have that mindset because not many people have that.
Very true.
I just want to continue to learn and grow and, just learn different areas of a business and just trying to be the best businesswoman I can.
Most definitely.
So I'm excited.
I like that. So are you going to be going to school in Austin or back in Houston?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I have a plan, but God's plan's always much greater than mine.
Yeah.
So what I've been doing right now is just praying about what schools I should apply to, who I should be working with, just really trying to seek him and seek the word. And at the end of the day, it's his life, not mine. Mm-hmm. My job is just to listen to him. So right now I've just been praying about what school to apply to. So I really don't know.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see in the coming months, but
yeah.
The goal is to start January 2021. So not too far away from
close.
now,
It's coming up.
I know, and I don't know how to act. I've been out of school since 2018.
Hey, all right.
And yeah. I'm like, yo, what am I getting myself into? Do I really want this? What is up? So, we just gonna roll with the punches. So
okay. What do you like better?
What
city you like better? You like being in Houston or Austin?
Oh, that's so hard because Houston will always be home. Houston is just always it's just a poppin' city, you know, like
Yeah.
that's home. Austin is different, but I feel like
Very.
Austin is my development city. I feel like
Mm.
Austin is a city where, man, like when I first moved out here, I was broke.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have the job that I have today. I was working 2 jobs. I was not doing the whole Sunday fun day thing. I didn't have that many friends moving out here. Didn't really know that many people. I was so busy hustling,
Yeah.
working, and didn't really have any days off. And when I did have days off, I wasn't out here like going to brunch. I was at home asleep because I was just so exhausted.
Hmm.
So I think ultimately, Austin will forever have a special place in my heart too, because this is a city that I'm developing. I'm still in the development phase.
Yeah.
I'm still growing, and I'm learning, and I'm I'm adulting,
Yeah. True.
and I feel like Austin has just taught me so much because of the lack of diversity here.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to, hang out with the homies and then go back to corporate America and pull some per my last email ... You know what I'm saying? So that's a skill. That is a skill. So
Nah, you're
Austin,
right.
Even being in Austin, that taught me that, because
Yeah.
there's no diversity here.
It's
And
different.
back home, that's my comfort. We got my Caribbean people out there. You got the Black people, the Mexicans, the Asians, the white folks. You got everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But here in Austin, it's almost as if like I had no choice but to adapt, and roll with the punches here. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to say. Houston will forever be my home, but Austin has a special place in my heart because this is where it actually, molded me into the woman that I am
I
today.
like that. That's a very great answer. I like that a lot.
Yeah. And I didn't even really answer it. I'm sorry.
Nah, nah, you
There's
did.
meaning behind both.
Yeah, I'm sure Kings and Queens family tune in. They get what you mean. They get what you mean. All right, so I'm sure everyone's looking forward to hearing your story. So we'll jump right into it. So the question we're all wondering is, how did ReTV start? How did that begin? Was it something that you always wanted to pursue, or is it just a spark that you kind of had?
Yeah. With creating ReTV, it's such a complex story, and I'll just try to see if I can sum it up for you. But just a little bit of background about me. I grew up around domestic violence and domestic abuse. And when I was running for Miss Belize and the Houston Caribbean Queen pageant, how it works in a beauty pageant, you have to have a platform. So my platform was the issue of domestic violence, raising awareness for it, because in the Caribbean community, it's basically you're raised to deal with those sorts of issues and brush it under the rug. So during that time of me, competing and having this platform, I realized, man, I enjoy talking about this issue because it's a way of me healing. I enjoy meeting other people, other women or men or individuals along the way who have these impeccable stories.
Yeah.
And these stories have just somehow, that pain pushed them to their purpose. And that's how ReTV came about. It was just me talking about my story and realizing, man, I have a platform. Even if it's just on Insta, even if it's just on Facebook, even if I'm on your podcast right now, I have a platform. And I realized there's so many people that I came across, and I'm like, yo, you need to meet my friend, or you need to meet my mom, or you need to meet my homegirl, my coworker. They need to hear your story.
Yeah.
So it's realizing, yo, every single person has an assignment on this earth from God. We all have a purpose, and I want ReTV to be the platform for you to talk about your purpose and for you to add value to the people, spaces, and things around us. So that's essentially how ReTV came about.
Okay. Wow.
And the goal of it is just to continue to tell stories and to create safe spaces for us to just talk about this thing called life. Because, yo, it's hard out here.
Yeah.
You don't know what people are going through, like Chad. He had
that was
cancer.
crazy.
Nobody knew about it.
Yeah, R.I.P.
And
Chadwick
he
Boseman.
was still adding value to the people and spaces around him. That is the point, man. He used his platform till the day he was gone.
Yeah.
And that is what it's all about. I want ReTV to be that platform to bring so many amazing people to just drop the knowledge and just to share their story. Because, yo, you can just, as long as I inspire one person and I bring you on the show, and you inspire that person, that's how it happens,
Yeah.
you know? So after every single show on ReTV that I have on my IG Live, I always get somebody writing and be like, man, thank you for this. Thank you for bringing on this person. Thank you for connecting me with so-and-so. Now I have this amazing connection with them. And really, man, it's there's room for all of us to eat. There's room for all of us to eat.
I like that.
That's where the mission statement, choosing collaboration over competition, comes from. Because you know what we could do with just all of us?
Yeah, I know.
You know what we can create? Like we got so much power and connection, and that is the point of it.
I feel that.
There's no game I'm trying to withhold. There's none of that. Nah, like if I have game, if I have a connection, I'm gonna connect you with somebody, because that's the way that I might be that blessing for you.
Exactly.
And vice versa.
So why do you think it's like that? Why do you think it's like that some people, like to withhold information and they don't like to see everybody win. They sometimes some people are, afraid of like, oh man, if I give this advice out to somebody, if I help this person out, it might, kind of like diminish what they're doing or have a negative effect on what they're doing. Oh, my people are not gonna, follow me if I collaborate with this person. There's always competition. Why is it like that?
The ego. That's it. Ego. Go look up what ego means.
Yeah.
It's an ugly thing, man. And people will do anything for ego. Whether it's the greed, whether it's the money, the fame, the clout, it is the ego. Whatever to boost your ego, that is what it is. And I don't have any space for that. I make it a point not to even give people who are like that my energy. And it's so funny. I recently had an encounter, right? So this is the beauty of being an entrepreneur, because there's no blueprint to what we're trying to create, right?
At all.
There's no blueprint to the Kxngs X Queens podcast. There's no blueprint to what I'm trying to do with ReTV. So I recently had an encounter with a guest on my show, and whenever you look on my ReTV Instagram page, it clearly says choosing collaboration over competition.
Yeah.
I'm all about adding value. I'm all about giving free game.
Yep.
So my guest just so happened to come on my show and make a comment and said, "That's your problem, Rheisha. You're giving away stuff for free."
Huh?
And I'm like, man,
what?
That's the difference between people who are doing, these podcasts or these YouTubes or these platforms.
Yeah.
You're not. See, the difference between what the other person is trying to do, what I'm trying to do is, this is my purpose. God, I've dreamt about this. God has put this in me. God has brought people in my life along the way to continue to open many more doors and connect me with the right folks. And whenever I had that person come on my show, it's like, okay, God, took a mental note. And the funny thing is, God has always shown me this person's ego, but I always overlooked it because I'm a very forgiving person. And I don't allow what people do to me. I don't take it personal, because that has to do with them, not me. So with how they've been for the past years, that was the breaking point for me. And that is when I knew, okay, what you're doing is all about your ego. You're really not trying to help people.
Yeah.
There's no need for me to be associated with you professionally.
Facts.
Or even just as a friend or an associate. There's no need for us to continue to have communication. I wish you love. It's all going to be, it's going to be nothing but love and support on my end. But in terms of us doing business together, it's a no for me.
Yeah.
So it's really just ego driven. And you can tell when people withhold game and when they don't want to, introduce you to certain folks or help you out. Those are the signs that they shouldn't be in your life. Or you just take a mental note and you keep it pushing. You can wish them love. You can pray for them. But it's one of those things where you gotta love from a distance.
Yeah.
And you can't take it personal.
At all. All.
You really can't take it personal.
Yeah.
So it's just the ego.
Wow. So I know you're always talking about, growth, faith, and, self-love, which will touch base on individually. But if you could explain the importance of, walking in your faith, how would you describe that, pursuing your passion and calling in life?
Oh my gosh. There's really no way to describe it other than this statement that I'm about to make. There's no other reason that I am where I am today. It's all God. I take no credit for any of this. It is that important. I feel like a lot of people, it's all about the relationship piece, right? And every person who's listening to this has a different story about how they got close to God.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a death, a breakup, a depression, a really bad time, or even a good time. I don't know, right? We all have a different story about how we got close to God. And it was unfortunate that mine was a really, really horrible, tumultuous situation. But, I'm grateful for it to the point where, because I have that relationship piece, I can really go to God. Like, that's the homie.
Yeah.
Like, we legit be talking like how me and you were talking right now on this podcast. That's how close knit our relationship is. And I take no credit for where I'm at today. And it is because I continuously seek him for any little thing, to the point where this morning, I was like, God, what sermon should I watch? What do I need? Fill me, like, talk to me. Let me know which sermon by T.D. Jakes I should watch. And man, it took me about 5 minutes, but I just so happened to click on the right one. And I'm over here crying, like, in the word, getting chilled, felt by the Holy Spirit. But even when you're faithful in the little things, when you go to him for the little things, that's when he delivers through the big things too. And I think it's just, making sure that you are talking to God for every little thing. You might not think it's a big deal, but man, it's a big deal to him. He don't take us lightly. We were made in his image. We are his children.
Yeah.
We are his sons. We are his daughters. And I don't take my relationship with the Lord lightly. And, I would just encourage everyone to really get in your word, find community, find people who will hold you accountable, who will invite you to Bible study, who will say, hey, how's your prayer life like? Have you prayed today? Can I pray for you? You need to have community. You can't do this faith walk alone.
At all. You can't do it by yourself. Yeah.
No, you can't. Yo, I tried. Nah.
It doesn't work.
That's what the collaboration over competition. It goes with any regard. With anything, any different aspect of your life. You need to have community. We were made on this earth to be in relationships and community and to love. God is love. And, it's just an important thing to be surrounded by people who love the Lord just as much as you do.
Wow. So finding your passion over a career that you might not particularly enjoy, how would you deal with that? Somebody, tuning in right now, if they're working a job that they don't particularly like, but they have a passion that they're passionate about, but they're, kind of scared to make that jump. What kind of, advice would you kind of give them in that area?
Oh man, I don't know if I would give advice right away, because everybody's scenario is just so different, right?
Yeah.
But I would want them to ask themselves and just be real. It's like, what are you doing to fulfill this purpose and calling? What have you done? Have you taken the necessary steps? Have you taken that course? Have you bought the equipment? Have you recorded it? Have you planned it out? Did you write it on paper? Did you get a mentor? Did you get a loan? What have you done? Respectfully, you really have to look yourself in the mirror and see, what have you done? Have you proven to yourself, to the people around you, and to God that you are serious about this? Because if this is your purpose, honey, it's going to be pulling you. Even if you don't feel like it, it's going to eat you up.
Yeah.
And you're not doing anything about it. Come on now. See, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't really give advice. It would just be, you have to be real with yourself and ask yourself those questions. Like, what have I done thus far to show the world and myself and to God that I'm serious about this? Because once you start proving to yourself and to God that you are serious and you've done the work and you've taken the necessary steps, that's when the doors start opening, man. That's when you start to be in flow. That's when you're in flow with just the world and the universe and with God and your purpose, man. Doors just start opening unexpectedly.
Yeah.
And all you had to do was just put it on paper. When you start putting it on paper and you start executing, that's when everything pops off. And, in terms of being at a place where you don't like, that's everyone. I'm going to be real. No one went to school to work for a tech company. No one went to school to work for Facebook. No one went to school to be a project manager. No one went to school to work at a bank. No, we went to school for a specific major, right?
Yeah.
We wanted to start a business, right? Yo, you are where you are for a reason. And it is so cliche, but it is true. And you got to believe it. You are exactly where you need to be. Whether if you're down bad, good, because it's teaching you character development, and it's teaching you to be patient, and it's teaching you to be humble, and it's teaching you to be grateful. If you're down bad right now, that's what it's doing. And if you're good, bro, if you are at a good place in life right now, take advantage of it and enjoy it and be in the present moment, because you don't know what can happen tomorrow. But if you are in a good spot right now in life and with people, enjoy it. And if you're at a spot at a job where you're kind of iffy, you don't like it, yo, you are exactly where you need to be, because you never know who you will meet at your job. It could be your future husband, your next business partner, the next person who's going to fund your business, the person who is going to introduce you to that CEO and get you that other job. Bro, you got to show up for yourself and be the best version of yourself every single day, and be grateful, because we only get this one life, yo.
Yeah, facts.
We do.
Facts.
We only get this one life, man. We're in the middle of a pandemic right now, and people don't have jobs. You know how grateful we are to have a job?
Very true.
You know how many people, like even with me, no, I didn't go to school to be in tech, but you best believe I am taking advantage of being in this role, and I am being patient, and I am serving. I am being a servant to my boss. I am being a servant to my customer. I am being a servant to the company. I am doing that. I am taking advantage of all the skills. My portfolio of customers runs from 40, 50 million to $1 billion. I am talking to 60, 50-year-old CEOs and CFOs of companies. I am taking advantage of learning how to negotiate contracts. I am taking advantage of learning how to write a proper email. And, I'm learning so many different things. And these are the skills and tools that we will need when we want to be an actual entrepreneur and be solo. Because we're going to need to know how to talk to these CEOs. We're going to need to know how to talk to the white folks. We're going to need to know proper business etiquette. We're going to need to know all these things. So this is why I don't take, and I can look back at my past jobs. I was a greeter at a restaurant, and that humbled me. I remember growing up, and I used to always say, I will never be in the service industry. Sure enough, the Lord humbled me, and I was in the service industry.
Wow.
And you know what it taught me? It just taught me to have grace. And I was mad, man, because that's where the money really is at. Those servers were walking out, bro. So much money. I was mad. I was like, are you serious? I wasn't even a server. I was a greeter, but bro, I had it so nice to where I would just be sitting there walking people to their table.
Yeah.
And these guys just be like, here's $100.
Jeez.
Yeah, and I'm like, I could have been doing this, yo. I was so upset. But man, I met some amazing people. And now I have a different level of respect for servers and greeters. And now I tip well. And now I know what it's like. And now I have more grace and patience for servers, because you never know what people are going through.
Yeah.
But man, even like all my past odd jobs, I learned so much.
Something.
And I have amazing connections. And I can honestly say that I just took advantage of where I was. Even at the moment, like looking back, I wouldn't say I took advantage of it, but I will say like I was a sponge, and I've always been a sponge to where I just want to learn, and I want to know why you did this, why you thought that way, why you that, how you came up with that answer. I've just always been a student of life, and I've always been a sponge to soak up that information. And I just want to say, like, if you're at a job that you don't hate, you're there for a reason. You're like, there's no other way to put it. You just got to take the lessons, learn the skills. And then whenever God is ready to move you in the next season, and you will know when your time is up at a job, jump.
I like that. And I think a lot of us forget that sometimes. You might not be in the position that you want to right now, but, you're learning lessons every day, right? Like just going back to what you said, you're a student of life. So, anything that you might think is negative at that moment you're going to look back and, in the future, you're going to be like, wow, like I actually learned something from that job, just like how you said with your prior job that you didn't think you were going to, be in the job of service. And now look where you are, you can go back and be like, damn, like I learned something from that, and it's utilizing, it's empowering me to, even become better. And, you're inspiring people through the story as well. because people are listening to you like, damn, like Rheisha did all that, like she went through all that, and they can relate to you. You can become relatable to somebody, because especially in entrepreneurship in general, you want to be relatable to somebody. You want to be with someone that they can kind of find confinement in, and they can be like, okay, like this is a real person and everything. So yeah, that's really good. I like how you touched based on that. So
yeah, for sure.
With growth, I feel like a lot of us start off with great ambition and passion, but as soon as we obtain maybe an ounce of success towards our goals, then we kind of get complacent. And I kind of want to get to this quote that I read. This guy named Roger Dawson. He said, "A human mind is a terrible thing to waste. It's even more tragic when the mind is one that was successful in the past but is now congealing in contentment." So how do you deal with complacency? Whenever you feel like you might not be having the best day, or you might achieve a certain milestone. You kind of like sit back a little bit, or how do you deal with that?
Yeah, I had to practice it. You literally have to practice being humble. You really have to practice the act of being accepting of the fact that the only thing constant is change. And I'm a Scorpio, and we don't like change. So even as an adult now, just being able to adapt, me having to adapt to ReTV and going to IG Live, being able to just adapt and not stay stagnant, and not just worry about YouTube. It's like, no, we're in quarantine. Nobody's doing anything on a Friday. Nothing's open. We're going to start an IG Live. Being able to just adapt. But that's something that needs to be learned. And I think the beautiful thing about my relationship with God is he has never allowed me to be complacent for too long. And he will always, bro, I can never catch a break. I be chilling. I be in a good spot in life. I be like at a job and I'm just cruising. I can walk in. I could do the work with my eyes closed. Yeah. Then it's like, bam, you got this other offer for a job, or you got this promotion, or this opportunity just came about, or this speaking engagement. You got an opportunity to speak for 45 minutes at this speech. And I always told myself, I said, God, whatever opportunity you bring my way that's going to help me to push me to greatness and push me to my purpose and going to help me grow, I will take it. And sure enough, Delapo, what did God do? God has been making me uncomfortable, bro.
That's good though. You got to be uncomfortable. That's the only way you grow.
Like, that's what I'm saying. He literally never, I can't be complacent. And I just can't. I can't, man. And God, it's so hard to explain, but I feel like the people who are listening to this and who have a relationship with the Lord, because when you pray for something, like, God really listens to you. You really got to be careful for what you pray for. Yeah. But God will, push you to the place where you are uncomfortable, but that uncomfortableness is where the growth is. Like, that's ultimately how you know that you're growing, when you're uncomfortable. So you just have to embrace being uncomfortable. And I think when you finally accept the fact that the only thing constant is change, that is when you really can't be complacent. It's almost as if it's a mindset. And like I said, it's about being intentional. So if you're at a place where you feel like you're complacent, granted, I'm sure we all know if we are or not. I think the best thing for you to do, or whatever advice I would give you, is to have an accountability partner. You really need a mentor, or somebody you trust, a sponsor, something, a coach. Yeah. You really need somebody to help, like, hold you accountable, because you can really go down that rabbit hole and think you can do it all alone. But like I said, we're not meant to be on this earth to go through life alone. We're meant to have relationship, and we're meant to have community. Just like you need community in your faith walk, you need it when you're an entrepreneur also. True. You need people around you to say, hey, bro, I ain't seen no video. I ain't seen no podcast.
Accountability.
What's going on?
Accountability.
That's what I'm saying. It's like you need the people around you to help you to get back on track. And if you feel like you're complacent, be real with yourself, and go to someone you can trust and be like, hey, bro, I really need help getting back up. I need help in this area. And if you got some real good friends, they're going to say, hey, what do I need to do? Yeah. How can I help you? And that's really it. I think it's just so important to make sure that you have that, you're going to God about everything. And like I said, he'll he'll make you uncomfortable, man, to the point where you have no choice but to get right. You can't be complacent for too long. Whenever he's blessing you and you over here just, not taking advantage of these, when you're over here just, just making it seem like these blessings are just whatever, you're not taking it seriously. God's not going to continue to bless you if you're not taking him seriously. So it's just always to ensure that you're trying to grow as a person.
I like that.
And have that community to hold you accountable.
Okay. So with ReTV, first off, I just want to know, how did you come up with the name, ReTV? Why ReTV, or is it just obviously because your name, but,
I came up with ReTV because I'm so multifaceted. Okay. I love fashion. I love music. I used to be a radio host out here in Austin, and it was highlighting young local artists. And I love music. I love Jesus. I love traveling. I love, talking about motivation. I love holistic wellness, fitness. I'm so multifaceted. And whenever I wanted to create this platform, they were like, Rheisha, you need to focus on one thing or three things. It can be fashion, makeup, and lifestyle. And I said, no, this is my show. I can talk about whatever I want to talk about. So I will. Okay. And, the stuff on my show that we talk about stems from, feminism, social injustice, to finances, to fitness, to holistic wellness and being plant-based. My show is so well-rounded, but that's because I'm well-rounded. I am multifaceted. I am multi-passionate about so many different things in this life. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just call it ReTV.
I like that. Yeah. So you don't put yourself in a box. It's, kind of gives you space to, venture out into other things. So yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So
that's where ReTV came from.
Okay. And you had through your journey of ReTV, any obstacles you faced towards the growth of your network?
Oh man.
Like give us one.
There's no blueprint.
Give us one obstacle that you had and you overcame.
One obstacle is analysis paralysis, and a lot of people on this call can resonate. It is when you analyze and you want to make things so perfect that you don't do anything for a whole year. You don't create that show. You don't create that podcast. You don't create that page. You don't create that business because you're analyzing every little detail and you want to make it perfect. Wow. But let me tell you something. You can make it perfect later. Just do it.
You can make it perfect later. I like that. Yeah.
You can make it perfect later. Just do it. So that would be it. I took a whole year analyzing, man. I made sure that I got the website, the logo, the color schemes, all of that. I made sure that I had like 7 videos, and then I just never posted anything. And I'm like, I just need to do it. I just need to do it. And I did it. And, the calling and the purpose, it pulls you. You have no choice but to just go with it. And it's not going to be perfect. We're not meant to be perfect. We're not, and I think that's why this is how we start. Like Amazon. There's a picture of Amazon in their garage. Now look at where they are. They start somewhere. They didn't know how to do accounting and everything perfectly. They didn't know how to do stocks and warehouse management and procurement, procure to pay. They didn't know how to do any of that at the beginning, but this is why we got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
I mess up on my show sometimes. I forget questions. I blank out. I've stuttered before. But all of this is development. Everything that we are going through right now is development, and you just got to start somewhere. So I think that was the biggest obstacle that I had to face so far was the analysis paralysis piece.
That's a good one. Another thing I wanted us to share, with the Kxngs X Queens fam is to do with meditation and the power of, the subconscious mind. I know you do a lot of meditating, and just, talk about that. How important is it to, always, have your mind in that positive state, and, because, we always have to be in that mind frame in order for us to continue achieving our goals. And, if you don't take that time out, for yourself, self-development in general, it can kind of be detrimental to your success. So, how do you use meditation?
Absolutely. Meditation has saved my life. Oh my gosh. I am a Scorpio, and growing up in an abusive household, my dad had anger issues. So I would pop off too. I have a really short temper. Well, I had a really short temper. I used to have a bad attitude. I was just like a troubled child. And, I will say, I'm going to add this little bit to it. We don't control what happens to us, but we can control how we heal from it. Our job is to heal from whatever has happened to us. And as a healed woman, I'm still healing, but as a healed woman right now, it is so important to ensure that a part of your self-care, whatever that looks like for you, make sure that you're being intentional about it every day and you're taking care of you. Because if you're not right internally, you can't be right for your coworkers, your mom, your sister, your dad, your business. You can't be the best version of yourself if you're not right within. Lauryn Hill said it, right? How you going when you ain't right within? That's a real thing. So a part of my self-care is meditation, having that time to myself, breathing in, holding in my breath, and just practicing, how to calm myself down, how to have that safe space with myself, and to just be intertwined with being and stillness and quietness. And it is so important to just have that moment to yourself and to take that deep breath, because whenever I meditate, it's actually me setting my intention for the day and starting off on a clean slate. So every single morning I meditate between 5 to 10 minutes every single morning. Why? It's because it's a part of my self-care and because I need to be prepared for whatever the day throws at me. My job is very demanding. I am also a CEO of ReTV. So that entails me having to always be on. You know what that means. You always have to be on. You always have to be your best self. You always have to be on guard because people know us and we're in the public eye. We can't be caught slipping. So,
At all.
So a part of my self-care is to ensure that I have that time alone. And what it does, one of the reasons I love meditation is it teaches me how to be in the present moment. That is a big thing for me. Because, as entrepreneurs, it's like we get so caught up in, man, if I could have done this, or if I would have done this a year ago, I could have. Or what does the future hold for me? Or how am I going to get this money? How am I going to pay for this? Who else? What kind of content should I put out? Who should I bring on the show? What should I post today? Bro, there's so many different things. We're being pulled in so many areas. In addition to the fact that we are so young. We are so young. And we're trying to figure out this thing called life. We're dealing with maybe anxiety, depression, insecurities, worries, doubt. We're dealing with family drama. We're dealing with having to go to work still. And even though we hate it, and we have this sort of passion and purpose that's pulling us, but our 9 to 5 pays the bills and this is where we are. We just got to accept it. Having to, really bring myself back and be in the present moment, that is a hard thing to do. But meditation helps me to be intentional and to really focus and to really just be grateful to just be, to breathe, to be in stillness and to just enjoy where I'm at in that day, in that moment, in that time, and in that space.
Wow. Kxngs and Queens fam, Rheisha dropping some knowledge right here. I'm listening to all the gems you got.
I know you're just listening to me. I'm over here like, damn, bro, I'm not talking too much.
Nah, you good. Keep. Hey, I love the energy. So hand in hand with meditation, journaling. How important is journaling as well? Because I know, people can, you can meditate as well, but journaling, writing things down, I feel like it always creates, kind of that something in our mind where you, especially in your subconscious mind, whatever you have, if you write it down, it usually helps with you, organizing your thoughts and organizing and remembering your goals as well. If you're journaling constantly every single day, so how do you go about journaling?
Yes, I've been journaling I've been journaling consistently for 3 years.
Damn, 3 years.
Yes.
That's good.
So part of my morning routine is I wake up, I go use the restroom, I come back, I meditate between 5 to 10 minutes, I journal, I read my Bible, I talk to God, and I set my intention for the day.
Mm.
It used to be opposite. It used to just be I would meditate in the morning, but then journal at night.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was almost as if I was just journaling and like reading the Bible, but not really retaining it and enjoying it. I had to switch it up. I had to switch up my routine.
Okay.
So I've been journaling for 3 years now. And the reason I started journaling was because, and this was during the time that I, formed a stronger bond with God.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of it started out with scriptures, and it was venting, and it was healing. A lot of it started out that way. And then eventually, as I got more healed and in a better place emotionally and spiritually,
mm-hmm.
I just started to write down goals. And I still do now, but now I have a structure. So in terms of my journaling every single day, I start out writing down what I'm grateful for. And the minimum is 3. But if I'm feeling extra, I'll list whatever else. And then I'll write down what I want to accomplish for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then depending on what time of day I journal, like let's say I didn't get it done in the morning, I write down what I did accomplish. Because I feel like we have to give ourselves small wins. We tend to focus so much on writing down goals. We don't really write down accomplishments.
True.
But that's what's going to keep us going. The small wins, it's like, okay, I did this today. All right, tomorrow I'm going to attack the day. I'm going to conquer the day.
Very
I'm going to
true.
be productive. I'm going to wake up early. So I think, I had to switch it up. And like I said, I'm always looking for ways to improve and to find meaning and being more intentional. So I had to stray away from just writing down scripture, and I still do sometimes, but now it's solely focused on, okay, how can I stay motivated in quarantine?
Yeah.
How can I stay productive in quarantine? It's by writing down my, what I'm grateful for, writing down my accomplishments, what I want to accomplish. And, it doesn't have to be so long term, and it can even be for the week and the day, starting out small. And then sometimes I would just write down my feelings and what I'm going through. And I'm such an overthinker. I read so many books. I've listened to so many podcasts. It's almost crippling sometimes because I get so in my head to where I need to write my thoughts down, sleep on it, and then I'm good.
Yeah.
Then I'm like,
it's like
I'm
that sometimes.
Yeah. Right. I wasn't tripping,
Mm-hmm.
So it's so important. I think everyone should journal. If you, like, let's say you can't afford a therapist, journaling is the best way to do it. But it's so powerful when you write stuff down because, you don't really think about it, but we're visual beings. We need to be able to see, touch it, just writing, the act of writing it down, it helps us to hold ourselves accountable. So
yeah, very true.
Yeah, you definitely do it. Everything that you talked about in the beginning about what it does and the benefits, yes, everyone should journal.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Do
you journal?
Yeah, I do journal. Do
you meditate?
Meditating is what I'm trying to start getting into.
Oh, I'm going to send you an app. That I use.
Okay.
I got you.
Appreciate you. See, Rheisha, you giving all the gems right now. I appreciate you.
You know what? I got you. I just want people to be great. That's it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And so I know you went into books as well. What kind of books do you read?
I am really big into personal development books.
Okay. So
anything that's going to help me financially, mentally, physically, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Every different area of my life, I'm just really big into personal development. Reading is so powerful, and it's so crazy because I never used to be a reader. It was so bad to where my mom used to be like, I will pay you $50 to finish one book this summer. And I would never get that $50 because I just hated reading.
Mm-hmm. Reading, it's important. Yeah.
It is so important. Yeah.
It's very important.
Now I'm over here reading just for fun. And I'm like, who would have thought? I'd be reading?
Because there's so much game, so much free game in these books. It's crazy.
So much free game, man. So yes, man, I love reading. And, I'm going to tell you a few books that I think everyone should read.
Yeah.
One of them is called The 4 Agreements. And The 4 Agreements talks about, it's very simple. It's very simple principles, but when it's broken down, it's kind of like a mind-blowing aha moment. So in the 4 Agreements, it talks about being impeccable with your word, talking about the power of the tongue, talking about, you know, adding life, and not adding life, but like adding value to life, and just practicing what you preach kind of thing, just making sure that you're very careful about what you put out to the universe, you know?
Yeah.
And then it talks about don't take anything personally. That's been a huge struggle for me. I am so like I'm kind of like a sensitive thug. So like
Sensitive
I
thug.
mean I'm a sensitive thug. Like I be hard, you know, but
Yeah.
I really be sensitive, and I had to learn not to take things personally. So it talks about how, you know, the way people treat you is not a representation of you, it's a representation of themselves. So
Wow.
it talks about that, and then it talks about don't make assumptions. That's so hard for me too, because we can replay, you know, scenes in our mind. We can have our mind wander and make up different scenarios in our head.
Yeah.
So it talks about that, and then it talks about always do your best.
Even
if you didn't get a job, even if you didn't get that role, even if you didn't get that gig, if you can look in the mirror and you can say you did your best and you gave 110%, that's all that matters. So it's such, you know, simple principles, but it's a really good book that I think everyone should read. And then the power of now teaches us to be in the present moment. And that is so hard to do. But it teaches you certain things and certain practices that you can do daily. So I'll give you one right now.
Okay.
A simple practice to do about, you know, practicing to be in the present moment is walking into your car. You sit in your car, you turn your car on, you listen to it, you turn on your AC, feel the AC for a little bit. You feel your oh my gosh, what is that called? Your steering wheel. You feel your steering wheel. And then you start driving. And then you could put your window down, and then you can just feel the breeze. Put your music on, just sing the song, literally practicing being in the present moment. That is so hard to do, but that is what I'm practicing right now, because I think I'm just so, like I said, I'm a very intuitive person, and I tend to, you know, take people's actions and what they say and what they do and where I'm at in life, and tend to go down this overthinking path where I need to make sure that, hey, you're where you are in life for a reason. You won't ever get this time back. You won't ever get this time without kids, without a husband back. You won't ever get this time without a family back. You live up your life, girl. Like you won't have this singleness again. You won't have this time to be by yourself, to not have to answer to anyone. You won't have this time to, you know, be Netflix and chilling by yourself, sipping wine. You know, you won't have this time anymore. Be in the present moment. Yeah. So, you know, just books like that. And then Dave Ramsey, read books about finances. There's this book that I'm reading right now. Oh, I forgot what it's called, but it's by this gentleman named Darren. And I'm transitioning to being plant-based. Okay. And it talks about being more plant-based and living a more holistic life. Yeah. But yeah, I think, you know, reading is so important. And those are some of the books that I definitely recommend, because they can just help you in different areas of your life. And, you know, the goal is to be the best version of yourself. So facts. Read it.
Facts. I like what you're doing. And, you know, especially just with, you know, ReTV in general, your mindset, I feel like, you know, it's helping the empowerment of women in general, especially during the times that we're in with, you know, the pandemic and, you know, social injustice. I feel like, you know, just watching or seeing you or hearing you speak about, you know, some of the things that you talk about is empowering other women, you know, so I really give you props on that as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So I found the book. It's called Super Life by Darren Olean.
Super Life by Darren Olean. Okay.
Yeah, so that book, it talks about food, it talks about what we put into our body, why we should be mindful, all that good stuff, and essentially kind of just breaks down the importance of buying local, and it just drops some really cool gems. So one thing that I learned in this book, and this is a fun fact, so when we eat broccoli, our saliva produces a chemical that fights cancer, but the broccoli itself doesn't produce the chemical. Wow. Isn't that so mind-blowing?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Really intense. Yeah, so you guys should eat your broccoli and kale, because kale does the same thing. Okay. But yeah, I thought that was so interesting. But even stuff like that, it's like, oh, wow. So it breaks down superfoods, and it's just a really good book. And like I said, the reason that I'm reading it is because I'm going more plant-based. So that's a really good gem to read.
Okay. That's
But
what's up.
I'm all about personal development and reading books to just amplify me being the best version of myself in every aspect of life.
I like that.
So
we have more ReTV IG lives coming soon. If Kxngs X Queens fan, I want to check you out.
Yes.
Okay.
That'd be good.
All right. Well, that's all I have for you, Rheisha. Thank you so much for coming on the Kxngs X Queens podcast. I really, really appreciate it. If you could leave one piece of advice for the Kxngs X Queens fan, what would it be?
If I can leave one piece of advice for the Kxngs and Queens fam, I would say you can make it perfect later. Just do it.
You can make it perfect later. Just do it. I like it. That's
Correct.
good. That's a good one. Okay.
Correct.
All right.
Yes. That would be the best piece of advice that I would give someone. And also, just seek some mentors or accountability partners, and that could be for business, it can be for your faith walk, it can be for health, anything.
How do you go about finding mentors? Like, if somebody doesn't really, how did you find a mentor?
I found my mentor. The beauty of social media. When people see you doing the damn thing, when people see you being consistent, putting in work and being curious and wanting to know how to flip houses, how to do real estate, or how to build a business, you reach out to people who are in the positions that you are or that you want to be in. And you just ask them questions, and that relationship develops over time. You don't have to really say, hey, can you be my mentor? Because I think a huge part of finding a mentor is the relationship piece. Piece of, that needs to be someone that you gel with. That needs to be someone you have a good relationship with. Y'all get along. Y'all have some similarities. That's someone that you trust. Someone that you can go to and you can be vulnerable because you don't know anything. They know so much more than you know. But the best piece of advice that I will give you is, if you do find a mentor, make sure that they have been in the position that you want to be in or that you have been in. And I say that to say, I hired a life coach and I paid this woman a good amount of money, but she was not an entrepreneur. She was just a life coach. She had a title of a life coach. She got some sort of certification, whatever. I ended up finding my mentor and we connected over social media. We ended up meeting up. My mentor is so freaking dope. There's actually an IG live that you guys need to watch on ReTV. But my mentor has a beard oil business. He flips houses. He makes music for Masego. I'm sure you all know who Masego is. My mentor he's plugged in. He's so dope. From Houston. He's put me on so much game.
Wow. And
he's a creative. He does so much, man. And this is how I know that God is just so amazing and great, because during this time that I was paying for this life coach, I felt like I was getting value, but it was basic value that I could have found if I did YouTube, or that I kind of already knew.
Yeah.
When I talked to my mentor said, hey, I see you doing this. I had mentors, so I'm going to give back to you for free. And Delapo, I had a 30-minute conversation with my mentor. And when I tell you that the amount of game and gems that were dropped in that 30-minute period was worth like $1,000 with what I would have paid for a life coach. And looking back, it's like, wow, I paid this much for this life coach and I didn't really get any value from it, but I got all this for free. That is the beauty of mentorship. That is the beauty of being consistent. When people see that you are doing the damn thing, when people see that you're really serious about your craft and you want to make the world a better place and you're walking in your purpose, God will bring people your way to help you and guide you and tell you what to do and show you the ropes. You just got to make sure that you're executing and doing your part. because faith without works is
Dead.
dead.
There you go. There you go. I like that. That's awesome. That's awesome. And yeah, Kings and Queens family, definitely check out Rheisha. As a matter of fact, what platforms can the Kings and Queens fan find you on?
Find me on IG. My personal page is RheishaA. And then my ReTV one is RHEE_TV. And then you can add me on YouTube.
Okay.
At Rheisha Shol.
Subscribe to the channel.
Yes, please subscribe. Go follow my ReTV page. You can follow my personal one also, but would love to connect. I'm excited to have Delapo on my ReTV IG Live. So that is going to be in the works.
Hey, you heard it first, Kings and Queens fam.
The role's going to be switched. The role's going to be reversed.
It's about to be different.
It's about to be real different, but I'm excited. So thank you so much for having me. This was great. And I'm excited to see where this platform goes. So thank you so much for having me and listening to me.
Of course. And I wish you nothing but the best, and success along your journey. You're definitely a queen in the making, which is why you're on the Kings and Queens podcast. And, I hope you continue to inspire, people through your journey, empowering women and, everything you're doing with ReTV. I can see it prospering. So, I really, pray that, that you continue to stay consistent with it. And, so, yeah, thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you.
And with that, Kings and Queens fam, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. And you remember you can find each episode on either SoundCloud or Apple Podcasts, and YouTube coming soon. And also, leave a 5-star rating for your boy one time, King Lapo. But yeah, episode 21, we out. Rheisha, any last words? Thank you. And that pretty much wraps up the episode, guys. So stay tuned for the next episode.